This is a Fox News alert on the so-called DACA program for so-called dreamers, those hundreds of thousands of young immigrants whose legal status right now is up in the air. Something they were negotiating over at the White House today because the president has said the program, which was instituted under the Obama administration, has got to go. Well, tonight, a judge in San Francisco is ruling that the DACA program must remain in place, while litigation over President Trump's decision to rescind the program actually works its way through the courts. We'll see, I would imagine, an immediate appeal by the administration, but it just happened a short time ago, so we will wait and let you know how the administration responds when they decide. Now, as we reported earlier tonight, Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein released the full transcripts from Fusion GPS co-founder Glenn Simpson's Senate testimony. It was behind closed doors. Also tonight, President Trump's attorney, Michael Cohen, has filed a pair of lawsuits. One against the website BuzzFeed, that's in state court. The other suit is against Fusion GPS, that one's in federal court. Now, both of them are over the so-called dirty dossier with its unverified allegations on President Trump and his associates' ties to Russia. Cohen's alleging the dossier, which BuzzFeed published, painted him as having a possibly criminal relationship with the Russian government. Here with instant reaction to all of these late-breaking developments is Republican Congressman from Utah, Stewart. He's also on the House Intelligence Committee, so he knows all about these things. Good to have you tonight.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
Okay, so where do we start? First of all, what do you make of this ruling out of San Francisco that this administration has to uphold the previous administration's decision to institute DACA basically by executive order?
You know, it's difficult. I think I'd just say this. These are decisions that are best made in the Congress. They're best made in the political body, not in the courts. I think that's an appropriate response, and hopefully that's where we end up.
Okay. Secondly, we now have these two defamation lawsuits for Michael Cohen, a lawyer for the president. They've been together many, many decades, many years working together. He says that BuzzFeed and also going after Fusion GPS, saying they knew this information was false, or they had to at least have some reckless handling of the truth, because Cohen says they put me in countries and places I've never been, people I've never met. They should have at least checked this out. He's going to court.
Oh, no doubt about it. I'm glad that he is. So look, this is a private citizen. He hadn't thrust himself into the public realm. He's a private citizen doing his job, and they accused him not of jaywalking. They accused him essentially of treason. And I think he should defend himself. And the dossier we've been saying for a long, long time. In the last few weeks, I've asked members of the FBI, tell me anything in the dossier that's true. Well, you know, I don't know how to answer that question. I mean, that's their response. I don't know how to answer that question. This is a meaningful accusation, and I think any citizen has a right to defend himself against something so serious as that.
What's your characterization, would you say, of the information you've been able to get from the FBI or the DOJ about the dossier, whether it was used to get the FISA warrant to spy on Carter Page or other members of the Trump administration? Have they been forthcoming?
Not initially, but you eventually just compel them to answer those questions. And I can't answer that question for you specifically, but we can speak generally, and that is we know that it was a very important piece of evidence they used to carry forward their investigation. We know that it's been disproven, and it's so important for the people to know that. Once again, ask members of the FBI, tell me anything in the dossier that's true. I don't know how to answer that question, or they'll answer very basic things that are very common knowledge. And these are innocent people who have been accused of very serious crimes, and it's done in such a willy-nilly manner as if the politics of it are the only thing that matter. These are people's lives that we're talking about here.
Well, Glenn Simpson, who is a former Wall Street Journal journalist and a co-founder of Fusion GPS, he has complained that he thinks that there have been leaks and mischaracterizations of his position and where he's been. He wrote a piece on that last week. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley has said, we want you to come and testify. Yeah. You took the Fifth Amendment when we asked you to do that. Now, tonight, the top Democrat on that committee released today all of this, the full transcript. She says this: the innuendo and misinformation circulating about the transcript are part of a deeply troubling effort to undermine the investigation into potential collusion and obstruction of justice. The only way to set the record straight is to make the transcript public. Grassley says they didn't consult on that. Yeah. He would have consulted with her, but she's done it.
I can't imagine what she hoped to accomplish by that. I really can't. And frankly, the accusation is just silly. I mean, look, a year ago, there were so many Democrats who really expected that this president would be impeached for collusion. And now, after all of this time in this investigation, they're very, very frustrated that the evidence isn't pointing to that. So then they're left with this one other option, that is, well, the investigation was therefore tainted or it's incomplete. We have interviewed dozens and dozens and dozens of people, thousands of hours. Our report, which will be completed fairly soon, will be hundreds of pages long. But if the evidence of collusion is not there, maybe those people were innocent. But instead, their presumption is, well, the investigation is a failure, or the people are trying to protect the president. It's just not true. And frankly, It's silly for her, I think, to have taken this unilaterally, to have taken this action, and I don't know what she hoped to accomplish by it.
Really quickly, because we're out of time, but there's a Democratic strategist and activist out there who has said basically after reading this, you have to think that the GOP was covering for the president and for his associates. He says members of Congress, GOP members, will go to jail.
Okay, well, I'd be willing to bet some money on that. I mean, I have no evidence of that at all. I don't think that he does. If he does, then please bring it forward to us. We'd love to see it because it's not something we've seen up at this point, that's for sure.
All right, Congressman, thanks for coming in tonight and giving us an update. We know that the committee has a lot of work ahead, and we'll look forward to the result.
Thank you.